Hi, I'm Carrie Lawless, and I am here today with Angel and Kirsten, and we have a design project today. They haven't seen this fabulous piece I've got in this SUV right here, but it's a dining room table and chairs. It's only 4 chairs, but I think I have some in my storage container that are a close enough match. We are going to make this whole thing over, and we are going to show you how you can make over a set really super easy. The surprise in this, well, I'm not going to tell you just yet. So hang on there and let me show them what we've got in here. All right, here we go. Ta-da!
Oh, wow.
I know it's not fabulous. Like, this is really disgusting fabric and it's all stained up, but I've got a really cool trick of how to get through this project really fast. It is going to be an amazing makeover. So we're gonna back the truck up and we're gonna start bringing it out to the patio and we're gonna get started. I'm gonna show you how it's done. I just love these dates. Don't you think this is so beautiful?
Elegant. It's gorgeous. And once it's done, it's gonna be fabulous.
Yeah, it is.
We could just, it's got good bones for sure.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
This has got something.
Yes.
Look at that. It's gonna be so pretty. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is cover up our work surface because we are going to be spray painting. All right, so I told you I had a little surprise, and this is kind of crazy, and actually I've shown this in another video, but most people don't spray paint furniture. I spray paint furniture. I chalk paint, I faux paint, I use gel stains, but in this case, the fastest way to paint chairs is to spray paint them. So that's what we're gonna do. I've got my favorite Rust-Oleum, the 2X Ultra Cover paint and primer, which is fantastic. So we're gonna scuff these just a little bit. We've got some sandpaper. Now listen, this is a really important trick, okay? So once you've gotten your can all shaken, there's this cool tool right here that you really need to have if you're gonna spray paint something and get a super fine finish. Because what you don't want is the spray marks. This little tool, I have no idea why this works so well, I just know it does. You're gonna slide this, there's a ridge in here, and you're gonna slide it right onto this can. And then you have like a spray gun. Sounds ridiculous, but it's really works. I've even painted entire dressers with this without the spray can marks. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna sand these chairs just a little bit, and then we're gonna start spray painting. And then I'm gonna show you how to distress it for maximum effect. All right, we're getting started.
Okay, well we got the chairs, some of the seats are off. We're gonna go ahead and take the rest of the seats off so we can paint the chairs.
Yeah. All right, it's time to start sanding.
Woohoo!
Yeah, woo!
I hate sanding. We all hate sanding. The better thing to do also before you even sand would be to wipe this down with vinegar or vinegar cleaner or some type of degreaser, just in case there were oily fingers or fingers with food moving these dining chairs around because it was in a dining area. All we're gonna do now, you really should have a tack cloth. I say that, I never have a tack cloth. And just wipe this down with a rag or paper towel or whatever you have. Get the dust off and then start spray painting. Okay, so we are all sanded and ready to get started painting. So one of the things I want to say, when you paint a chair, the best thing to do is flip it upside down first. You want to make sure you've shaken this for a minute at least. And then what you want to do is once you've gotten your little spray nozzle on here, you want to go with long sweeping strokes. You want to be 8 to 10 inches away, and you just, mine was a little bit stuck. So just like this. Now we're not going to spray the top because we have to have something that's dry that we can grab onto to turn it back around once we've gotten this. Don't worry about getting full coverage on the first stroke. If you get too much paint on it, it's going to run. So I've got the first coat on. As you can see, it's still a little splotchy in some areas. I'm just gonna give this literally dries in a few minutes. I'm just gonna give it till it's dry and give it another coat. One more coat and we'll be done with this. All right, so our first coat is dry and we're getting ready to get the second coat on. Now we're gonna get our full coverage because this is great paint and we should be fine. Let's see what happens. All right, I think this one's pretty much done. And we're gonna go on in and see what Angel's doing. She's getting these seats ready to recover. So we're gonna get started on that next. So I'm here with Angel and we are gonna be covering these 8 chair cushions. Now, like I said, we had 2 different types of chairs. You can see this one's a lot higher than this one, but it's for staging. We really don't care. Nobody's ever gonna notice. Now, what we're doing to make this even more cost efficient is we're using a drop cloth. So this is just from Home Depot and it's just this canvas. You don't want the one that has the rubber backing, you just want the regular canvas. And so it was in this little package here. And you're just gonna fold it out. Perfect. I know we can get all of them covered. I think this thing was like $13 or something.
That's a great deal.
So what you're gonna wanna do is cut it where you have like just a little bit more than what you need all the way around. So I'm gonna come this way and I'm just gonna fold it over to about where I need. I'm gonna put my finger there and say, okay. All right, so the staplers that we're using, they're 2 different staplers just because that's what we have, but they operate basically with the same principle, and this is my favorite kind. The old school kind of had the handle you press down in the back, and they don't give you enough leverage to really get that staple all the way in. The kind where the handle is in the front and you're gonna push here, that is the one I like. I love the Power Shot. That's the one Angel has in her hand. That's my favorite one. This is the Craftsman version. It feels a little lighter, but I'm sure it operates pretty much the same way. So you're gonna wanna squeeze the back. You need to know how to load this. So you're gonna squeeze the back. That one you kind of have to push down and squeeze. That one's been dropped a few times. So push down.
There we go.
Yeah, and then it'll come out. Yeah, there you go. And then so what you want to do is, you would think that you would put the staples here, but you don't. You turn it upside down, and you want to get compatible staples. Arrow and Stanley have a universal fit. I really prefer, what is this, 3/8. It's pretty close. But I don't like to get them too long because then it's harder to get them to go in all the way. And so here's what you do. There's this little cavity right here. You just want to dump them in there. And so you just put them in upside down, and then you're going to slide this in until it locks. It's clicked in place and you're loaded and ready to go. You want to put a staple on each side. Make sure you have enough room all the way around before you do. So I'm about even, okay? I'm gonna put a staple here. Since I'm going across, okay, so I'll put the first one, I'm gonna put the one across, I'm gonna pull before I staple. So that puts some tension there. And I'm gonna go on the side. And then when I go to the other side again, I'm gonna pull because I want it to be tight. All right, here we go. Now, I'm going to work the corners next. All right, nail is when I'm gonna trim some off because it's gonna get bunched up if I have too much fabric here. You can be really neat and precise here. I feel like nobody's ever gonna see it, so I'm not. It just takes up more of my time. So here's what we're gonna do. We have one staple on each side and then we have one in each corner. So let's go ahead and work the corner. Now what you wanna look at is this side. When you're working this, you wanna make sure that you don't have any folds that are visible. So like right here, if I did this, you would see this fold. That's not attractive. So we're gonna go ahead, and the way I make sure I don't have the folds, I kind of put my finger under the fabric and maneuver it and move it around until the folds are only on the bottom and not on the side. See what a cleaner look that is? And then I'm gonna staple on top of the fold here and here. You can always tap these in with a hammer. Again, I'm gonna pull my fingers underneath. That seems to work the best. The best thing about this, if you do it and don't like what you did, you just take the staples out and start over. It's a forgiving process. It's kind of like paint. If you don't like what you painted, you just repaint. So that's one of the things I really like about this. And if you were to ruin your fabric somehow, it's a canvas drop cloth from Home Depot. Cut another piece, right? And our disclaimer is that we're not pretending to be professional furniture upholsterers. That's not what we do. We just like to make things look pretty, and we like to give you options for doing things where it's just not as difficult and not as expensive. So we just like to get a really nice look on a budget and a time-friendly way of doing things. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through and just put a staple in between each one of these, or I could put two. So there it is. It is not perfect by any means, but you know, the good news is it doesn't have to be, and we're not trying to do that. So if you're not a perfectionist either, this is going to work out well for you, and you can see that you can have something really nice for not that much effort, not that much money. So the next thing is on to the table base and the tabletop. So keep watching because I've got some. Blocks I got at Dollar Tree, and you know, they're gonna gum up a lot, so they're not gonna last that long. So to get them at Dollar Tree is really great because you don't feel so bad about throwing it away as opposed to the, you know, $4 ones. That's probably good enough. When we get the table all together, we're not going to be able to see very much of this because the table covers most of it. So if we feel like it needs a little bit more, we can do that then. So for now, we're going to work on the chairs. Okay, so this chair has arms and this one does not. So we're going to highlight a little bit differently. So of course I'm gonna wanna get these edges. This is very visible. Look how nice that looks. And remember, on these chairs, it's super important to get the back, because in a dining table, the back is what you see from one of the sides of the table. All right, we probably should see if we're consistent. And that's the other thing. If you're doing this with somebody, it's really important to step back every now and again and make sure that you're doing things the same way, because you can be heavy-handed or light-handed in this, and it'll make all the difference in the world in your end result. I think it's pretty close. It's definitely close enough. We don't want it too perfect. I have a problem with being too consistent. So I think that's good enough. I like it. All right, so what are we on to next? Oh yeah, tabletop.
Yep, gotta do that.
All right, it's as much a surprise for us as it is for the people watching. So we went ahead and put the table leaves in here. It's really important, if you are doing a table that has leaves, get it put together, leave yourself a little bit of room between the leaves so you can brush out the edges and they don't stick together when they dry. I think what I'm gonna do, I wanna get like an end result to be gray. I am using Old Masters Gel Stain, which is one of my favorite products because it sticks so well. We've scuffed this a little bit, but this stuff sticks to pretty much everything. The other thing I did is my paint store tinted the pickling white to a taupe color. They've got a formula in the computer for me. They just color matched it and I liked how it came out. I'm gonna be using Varathane wood stain. I've got the weathered gray and ebony. I also have a carbon gray, but if I don't need it, I'm not gonna use it. So I'm gonna start out with the pickling white. And a lot of times pickling white over a dark color ends up looking gray. Now in this case, we are definitely going to go with the grain of the wood. We're gonna wind up using several colors, but I wanna see what this white does before I make any decisions about where I'm going next with this. The other thing is you want your strokes to be sweeping. What I really don't like is when you see strokes, people do this a lot, and that's not the way wood grain is. It's straighter. Now, if you get your product on here and you don't like how it looks, all you have to do is take some paint thinner and just wipe it off. Now, you have to be super careful about not getting this muddy looking. If you overblend this, it's going to be muddy. Now, what I like about this taupe color is it's adding warm tones in. And what I love about this gray color is it's adding the cool tones. And since we use our furniture primarily for staging, this is perfect because we're gonna have the warm and cool tones. And so we can use this, you know, it's a lot more versatile. Now, the other thing you can do, it's almost like a wood graining effect. You let it sit up and you brush ever so lightly across the top. I'm basically skimming the top of the surface. And as you can see, it's creating a mottled kind of wood grain effect. And then I'm gonna go very lightly the other direction. Okay. So I'm looking at the color of what's underneath and I'm not liking how light this is. I feel like we need the drama on top. So maybe we will skip that gray. Skip the white. Let's start with the gray and see what we get. Now we're gonna add in a little bit of taupe, see what happens. Okay, it looks like I may have come up with what I like, and it's basically this little bitty strip. So sometimes it takes experimentation, and you just have to have enough to play around with, but I do like this. And I think it's pulling the same colors that are actually in that backsplash, which, you know, for this house, that's great. In the future, it won't matter. So it looks like we're just gonna have to put on the darker colors first. Let's get this out of here. So now I'm just gonna add in a little bit of black to get some richness back in here. So this is gonna be a combination of getting the paint on and pulling it back off and then dry brushing back on top. And the dry brushing gives you the control of adding in what you want to complete the look. Now, the other thing is, the longer you wait to pull the paint off, the different the look is going to be as you do it. Also providing more or less pressure. This brush doesn't have much of anything on it, so I'm going to dry brush sideways to get the wood grain look, because it's set up just a little bit. So by me barely brushing over the top, it's going to pull it just enough to give it a natural wood grain effect. It's almost like dusting. So now we're just going to go in with the dark, and I think that's going to be a whole lot easier. So I've got gray, black, actually it's ebony, weathered gray, and in the Old Masters, I'm using dark mahogany. So if you just make your ends consistent with what you've got going on the table, just bring it all the way to the end. Then you'll have a more consistent look and not have to go back into it. Okay, so again, this is my brush that doesn't have a lot of stain on it. This product takes overnight for sure before it's dry enough to do anything with. I would probably wait 48 hours, but what I mean by dry is just too dry to move around and do anything with. Okay, so we've got a lot more dark on this side. I really think this is the side that I'm liking. It might even be worth it to wipe this off in these two center pieces, because I think this is what I really want to go for right here. But we'll see. Okay, so I decided, actually I took a poll, and everybody said that that side looked the best. So, and I agree. So I wiped this section down with the two table leaves, and wiped it down with paint thinner, got it all off, and made that look like that. So now we're just gonna do the end. Now that we know what we're doing and what we're going for, it's gonna be a whole lot easier. But you know, really and truly, that is the process. that is the process that I use when I'm creating. This is art, and I never know exactly what I'm going for when I start out. One of the cool things is this dark mahogany color that I am loving so much, that's adding all the warmth, was not even a thought in my mind of, going to enter into this palette here. And it just so happened to be what I had when I decided I wanted to add warmth. And I'm so happy about that. So a lot of times, the things you didn't even think you were going for are going to be your favorites. So that is what happened here. So again, I'm going to go over it. I'm adding the Modern Masters gel stain in the dark mahogany color. I am adding Varathane Weathered Gray wood stain. I love this stuff. You can have it as opaque as you want or as transparent as you want. Whatever it is you're going for, you can do it. Is to keep your warms together and your cools together. Okay, so after I add these two colors in, the color I'm going to add with the gray is going to be the black, and the color that I'm going to add with the mahogany is going to be the taupe color, because they're both, the taupe is definitely warmer than that gray. Now with the lighter color, I actually went a little too wide here. I don't want it quite so wide. I really wanted it to be a bit streakier. So I'm just gonna pull some out and see how I'm getting those narrow streaks. It's really more what I'm looking for. So what I might do is just pull some out of here, maybe. I'm layering too, because after I layer, when it starts to set up, when I begin to drag, that's how you get that depth of color. So layering is pretty important. I think this side's had enough time to tap up, so I'm going to just drag. Again, I'm using my fingertips because as I create pressure in those areas, there you go, you have a striation. Okay, so I'm going to use my brush that doesn't have very much on it. This is what I've been using to feather out these lines. And again, just like on the other side, I'm barely putting pressure. It's probably a little drier again than what I wanted it to be. Then I'm going to go against the grain, feathering it out, and this just blends the colors together a bit. And then I'm going to go with the grain. And the brush strokes that I created going this way are going to now feather out. And so now it's looking like some kind of exotic wood. Of course, there's nothing like this in nature, but we're just going to make it up. And we'll call it exotic wood. So here's the cool thing. When this is all dry, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a top coat on it. I'm going to use a water-based top coat. I think Varathane has one, but if I wanted to add in more streaks like this and get some more drama, what you don't want to do is go on top of this even when it's dry, because it could reactivate it. So you want to put that top coat. Now the cool thing about these stains, even though they're oil-based, if you wait, I would wait 48 hours. So if you wait 48 hours, you can put a water-based acrylic top coat on this. Midwax has a really good one. Like I said, maybe Varathane has one, but you want to go with a flat varnish though. You don't want anything shiny at all. And so you'll varnish this, it dries in, I don't know, probably an hour or so. But wait till the next day and then go add in some more. It's just a process of creating the look you like. So we are going to put everything back together, put a top coat on, and then we'll finish getting our chairs ready. Okay, so we are done with this project. I am so happy with how it came out. So I love the light colors that are in the chairs. I love the distressing. I think it came out so beautiful. And I think the seat cushions are fantastic. They're so neutral. They're gonna go with anything and everything. So what I really love though is all of the different colors that we put in this tabletop. And what I like is that we've got warms, we've got cools, we've got lights, we've got darks. And so because of all of that, this will literally go with anything and everything. So if I change up my decor around it, and in this case, this is used for staging, so it's gonna change all the time. This is very versatile. So when you're choosing your colors and you're painting something, think about that. Try to be as versatile as possible and include as many tones as you can. Then when you change the things around it, it's still gonna be relevant, it's still gonna go, and you'll still be able to use it. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was helpful for you. And it would be great if you would like this video and subscribe to our channel because we're gonna have a lot of fantastic tutorials coming up. Please also comment below and let us know if you found it helpful and what you would like to see in the future, because we want to provide great content for you, and if there's something you would like to know, then we would like to show you how to do it. My name is Carrie Lawless. Thank you so much for watching.